Just a quick video today about the iPhone 16 Pro, my first impressions on it and why I think it's criminal what Apple is doing to us. I did order the iPhone 16 Pro Max as well, but that is back ordered, so it sounds like not many people listen to my advice, including myself, and these things are selling like hotcakes. The first thing I noticed with the 16 Pro is the size. It's much better now in comparison with the 15 Pro. It's a little bit bigger, and whilst I like the bigger phones, I recently started to enjoy narrower devices like the Xperia 1 Mark 6, for example, the Fold 6 when it's folded, of course. So I appreciate this smaller size but slightly larger display as well. I'll see how I get on with the 16 Pro Max when that arrives, but I have a feeling that the Pro will be a better option for me for two reasons. One, I personally don't really use an iPhone that much these days, and two, the cameras on the 16 Pro are now the same as the Pro Max. So considering we can really just run one app at a time on the screen, I don't really need a bigger display on this device. And talking about the display, when it comes to that, the 16 Pro, honestly, I have not seen much of a difference at all from the 15 to the 16. And you can see for yourself, here's the 15 Pro right next to it. And honestly, it's essentially the same display, isn't it? It still has that annoying cutout, aka the dynamic highlighting there, which I find ridiculous. But anyway, I've complained about that enough now. But image quality wise, we are talking the same as the 15 really, which is great, right? It's a fantastic display here. But talking about annoying things like the cutout, can I just say this button here, the camera control button, is in the wrong place. It doesn't really do much right now anyway, but when I tried to use it, it took me literally 10 seconds to realize it's in the wrong spot. It's basic ergonomics here. I don't want to come across like I'm just hating on the iPhone. I mean, it's a beautifully designed button, and when the features come and, you know, kind of make it more useful, I think it will be great to have it here. But it's just in the wrong place. When you're holding the device like this, any device, not just the iPhone, you want to have more support under the phone, so your thumb is kind of right under it, supporting it, nice and secure, right? It's a natural thing to use our thumbs there. To use this button, you kind of have to readjust your thumb a little bit like this to reach the camera control button. It's only slightly, and you can sort of keep the thumb here, but then move your hand in front of the display, again, potentially causing accidental touches too, and your hand is actually then covering the screen, so it's kind of getting in the way of the shot, you know, in a way. I'm gonna make one of those silly comparisons here now, but I know it's not the same phone, the same functionality even, you know, the button does a different thing on the Sony here. But as you can see, even one-handed, I can comfortably press the shutter button here. It's got the half press haptic feel to it as well, but it's an actual button. And it does exactly what it's supposed to be doing, exactly like it does on the camera. I know the Apple version is a much more advanced, not just from a hardware perspective, but when the features come to the iPhone, it will be a way more advanced option than the Sony. But what Sony did, and others as well, they put it where you can reach it easily. Closest to your finger, right? It's right on the corner here. I just don't get Apple sometimes, you know, it's like they rush the feature as a way to justify a new phone. It's almost like, guys, we need to do something, right? We already done a silly cutout on the display to differentiate the 14 from the 13. We added a useless action button that no one uses to differentiate the 15 from the 14. Now, we've got to do something, right? Let's add the camera control button. It's shocking, absolutely shocking. I actually love that Apple are thinking outside the box here a little bit and bringing something that is sort of new to the iPhone, but it definitely feels like they rushed it, this one. I mean, it's not very Apple to do something that ergonomically doesn't make sense. You know, most of their products have things that make a lot of sense from a human touch perspective. You have to have an extra long finger or just operate the phone, you know, in an unbalanced way, which is really weird. The tactile feel and the haptics, everything is as you expect from an Apple device. It's top quality here, but it doesn't make a lot of sense when you actually try to use it. I know you've seen lots of videos of people saying how amazing this thing is, and you know, it's just a coincidence that they are all getting the iPhone sent to them and they were all invited to Cupertino for the iPhone launch. So here's where I come in, right? This button, I would not be surprised if they moved it closer to the corner in the next version. As far as I'm concerned, they could remove this button completely and just give us the same version as a UI feature. You would do the same thing for me and potentially more natural, you know, to pinch and do things like that on the display. Anyway, before we move on to camera quality, just a quick reminder to like this video, and if you like my stuff as well, have a look at it later. It would be awesome if you subscribe too. There's lots more content coming, not just rants about the iPhone. Anyway, obviously early days, so I won't talk too much about the battery right now. I always find it a little bit weird that people do battery comparisons on the first few days. The battery is still learning itself, is learning about you. These things are quite intelligent, not just Apple, but any smartphone these days need time to adjust and optimize to your usage. It would be silly for me to start doing a battery test right now. But I can talk about the cameras, and I am impressed. Look, I'm talking positively about the iPhone. When it comes to cameras, it continues to be super consistent, delivers amazing photo and video quality like nothing else, right? I took it for a spin, pretty much straight out of the Apple store where I picked it up. By the way, shout out to Apple Southgate here in Bath in England. They were super helpful there, you know, even though I was holding my S24 Ultra in my fold, they didn't mind that I was an Android user. They were there, they were really helpful to get me all set up. But after that, I went out and did some shots, and I did some side-by-side shots actually with the 15 Pro, and I realized a couple of things pretty much straight away. The first one is the 5x lens. I didn't think it would make a big difference, but it does. You know, I do think Apple made the right decision here on the 16 Pro in adding that tetaprism lens here. The 3x on the 15 Pro turns out to be too limited in comparison. Yes, you can sort of get by in most situations like I have been on the 15 Pro, but having the 5x, which is the equivalent of 120mm in photography terms, makes a huge difference creatively, as you can see here. The second thing that I appreciated was the higher quality when using action mode. I didn't see Apple talk too much about this, but I just tried it, and you can get super crisp footage in this action mode, and it makes things look really, really cool. Not to mention the new 120 FPS mode, which I would definitely be having some fun with. Now, 4K 120 is what I use in this camera to do like B-roll shots and things like that. So having that on the phone, I like that. And I use that on my S24 Ultra as well, all the time. And for those of you who like to vlog, this is the audio quality and the video quality on the selfie camera as well at 4K 60. And this is walking and talking, so you can have an idea of what the stabilization is like. It's all over the place from what I can tell, but hopefully the end result will be stable. And I'm not talking that loudly either, because I feel very awkward recording in public, but let me know what you thought. And this is the quality on the main camera at 4K 60 as well. Let me know what you thought in the comments, but I think this is better. I'm interested as well to hear what you thought about the audio quality on this camera. The digital zoom of 25x is pretty mid when you compare that with the competition, right? But it does feel like Apple, you know, rightly so, you know, you could argue that they're not really into compromising image quality for the sake of better zoom. But you could also argue that others just found a better way of using AI perhaps, or, you know, some sort of image processing to do a better job whilst, you know, enhancing the zoom. Even when they zoom like 30, 50 or even 100x, some of the other devices out there are doing a good job at it now. Ultimately, I do think it's criminal to release a product every year that has so little improvements. To be fair, they're not increasing the prices of the iPhones. I mean, that would be even more criminal. But on the other hand, I don't think we're getting value for money here. You know, even looking around at an Apple store there, the only product really that you can look at it, my opinion, that I still think represents the Apple that I remember is the MacBook. Everything else looks subpar, you know. The iPhone, despite it being a solid device, just feels too basic for a device at this price and of this kilter, right? Most people won't notice it. You know, if you've always used an iPhone, this is the best iPhone, right? But for us who know what else is out there and have experienced other devices, it's pretty clear that Apple, whether we like it or not, is falling a little bit behind here. Having said that, I love tech gadgets, and new tech is always, you know, the shiny new toy, right? And as always, I am super excited to try out more features in here. I'm already doing some great comparisons between this and the S24 Ultra, some other devices as well. I'll be doing some accessory videos for it as well, so make sure you are subscribed for that so don't miss those videos. Links to some of the accessories that I already showed in this video will be here below, but I will be doing some longer videos about that as well. Hope to see you soon. Cheers.